Hi guys, welcome back to Sports with Mono and Mono. It's November 4th, 2021.
I'm going to say it's September.
Oh, sorry, scratch that. September 4th, 2021. And of course I'm here with my partner Steve, who just corrected me.
Yeah. Happy Labor Day weekend, everybody.
Yeah, it's finally...
Oh my God, it's beautiful out today.
After the week people have had
Ah,
from New Orleans to the Northeast. It's unbelievable.
To Oakland, New Jersey.
Yeah.
It was a hellacious rainstorm that
Almost unprecedented.
I can't remember it being this bad.
I know.
But here we are, a full slate of college football today. I can't tell you
And we're going to get to
how
that.
happy
you know.
I feel about that.
But this is also our NFL preview, and we're gonna start with that after Steve's monologue.
Yes, thank you. So my monologue today is going to be about golf. And I swear to God, that tournament last week of Patty Ice Cantley and Bryson DeChambeau. And obviously DeChambeau has been in the news all year. And I can't remember, it's golf, from the Greg Norman meltdown to Van Velde, and all this. We've never seen things that we've ever seen. Tiger 20 under, at the Masters. But this was unbelievable. DeChambeau misses a putt, I think, in the first round to miss a 59 by one stroke. He's blowing up this tournament, right? He's got the Brooks Koepka controversy. He's not liked by many, etc., right? He's winning this tournament, and all Patrick Cantley does is stay right at his heels. So much so, he's making these ridiculous putts, right? Putt after putt after putt. You got DeChambeau walking up to the 18th green, tips his hat to the galley, and thinks he's going to pull this off. What happens? 6-hole playoff, right? And all Patrick Cantley does is make these putts. And we're not talking 2, 3, 4 putts, foot putts, 15, 20, right? DeChambeau loses this, and everybody, I think, and their mother, for the most part, outside his family and friends, loved every minute of it. He loses this, walking up to the clubhouse. He is getting heckled beyond belief. Way to go, Brooksy, this, that, and the other thing. So my point is, Patty Ice, right, wins this tournament. He's probably going to make $15 million if he pulls off the FedEx. Secures himself on the Ryder Cup. And then DeChambeau still has the Ryder Cup and the Brooks controversy to go. But what a golf experience this past weekend.
Good monologue, because it was absolutely on my list of things to talk about. And you and I have had Patrick Cantley on our radar for a couple of years, and so did one of our listeners, George Breen.
Yes.
And he's finally coming in and maturing into that golfer, and you're right. I'm on the fence. I actually talked to one of our listeners, Mike Garvey from Naples, regarding DeChambeau. I want to like him, and I'm not sure, and this whole Brooks thing, and... Listen, it's got to shake them up on the course when people are yelling out Brooksy, that kind of stuff. But you're right, it was great golf, and there's great golf this weekend. It's the Tour Championship. This is who's going to walk home with the $15 million. But there's something that just drives me nuts, Steve. It's the scoring system. Cantley goes in at 10 under. I don't understand it, maybe, but it just seems like it's the Tour Championship. It's all in. Started from scratch. It was crazy to me. And John Rahm is right on his heels. And Dustin Johnson shaved his beard, and he's playing pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, Cantley
Jordan Spieth is in there. Justin Thomas is in there. This is what we want.
But this course was perfect conditions to shoot 27 under.
East Lake,
right,
in Atlanta.
And then you got Rory McIlroy shooting 22 under.
Well, he's not going to win it.
But back to DeChambeau. He's his own worst enemy. And I agree with... When he first came on the scene, I didn't dislike him. I didn't find him arrogant. I found him,
But
whatever.
he changed his persona that people rubs him the wrong way.
So once he hit the weight room, etc., his ego just became too big.
Exactly.
And then he's just had these faux pas all year, from blaming the sponsor on his driver,
Firing his caddy.
I mean, and on and on.
We get it.
And Koepka, all he does, he's winning this PR battle.
I'm not sure he's not going to sneak up there into second place in this thing. You watch Brooks on Saturday and Sunday in a big tournament, and he's awesome.
But just to finish real quick, Steve Stricker, has to call them both into his office and say, "Can we put this nonsense aside for a week?"
Don't embarrass the country,
right? And so DeChambeau. Oh my God! I mean, you can't.
I'm still on the fence. I want to like him, but he's not making it easy.
I don't like him. I don't like him.
All right, well, we'll see. But good monologue, good topic to start with. And our first segment, of course, is sponsored while we're talking about golf. Coriano Trucking of Summerhill, New York. Who's just about teeing off right now, actually, on a Saturday afternoon. Beautiful
Very
weather.
good.
And we wish them all the best on his round and thank him for our sponsorship. But Steve, guess what's starting next week? The National Football League. And this is our NFL preview. We're going to go from division to division, think what we see, and talk about it.
Okay. Bring it on.
Okay. Let's start with the AFC North, right? The Cincinnatis, the Clevelands, the Pittsburghs, the Baltimore. I'm gonna go with Cleveland here to win this division. I think they're maturing. I think Mayfield is starting to come into his own. I like their chances. A lot of things with Pittsburgh, right? You got Ben still at the helm. They got a good running back. You got former MVP Lamar Jackson playing for Baltimore. I don't see Cincinnati. I like Joe Burrow. We both like Joe Burrow. But they don't have a lot
That's
around
it,
them.
Joe
So
Burrow. We like Joe Burrow.
I'm going with Cleveland in that division. How about you?
I was leaning towards Baltimore, but J.K. Dobbins going down, I think, is a big blow.
That's a big
I
blow.
don't think they have the stud receivers that require a Lamar Jackson type. So then Lamar Jackson
Has to run.
right.
He's
Is
gotta run.
a marked man. Cleveland has acquired all this talent. We like the coach, Kevin Stefanski.
We do.
They made the playoffs last year for the first time. Yeah, I see no reason why the momentum doesn't continue for Cleveland, and I like Cleveland to win the division.
Gotcha. The AFC South, right? Tennessee, Indianapolis, and Jacksonville and Houston. One of the divisions that doesn't intrigue me all that much.
It's the worst division in football.
That's what I feel. But I can't see Tennessee leaving it on the table. I like Derrick Henry. And listen, I don't know what the big brouhaha with Ryan Tannehill, but he has been playing well. I like them in this division this year.
Yeah, this is a no-brainer.
Houston's a mess, right? We know that, right? Jacksonville doesn't have much, right?
Back to Jacksonville. They did play a preseason game against the Cowboys last week.
Meaningless.
I understand it's meaningless, but there was something about Trevor Lawrence, the way he looked, and I get it. It's preseason. I get it.
We love this guy.
I know, but my point is, I don't know. I looked at him. He looked like a 10-year veteran, and I'm telling you, I have a feeling. You think Justin Herbert had a pretty good year last year? I think Trevor Lawrence is going to look like. I just have this feeling.
No, we like him
this
too.
kid is going to be better than we even think.
Right.
But Tennessee, you got Carson Wentz and the disaster that's
Indianapolis.
Indianapolis.
Right. Jacksonville, I don't see, and Houston's a mess.
No, so
Houston's
Tennessee,
a mess.
Derrick Henry, and
So we're both going with
Julio Jones acquisition.
So far, the monos are aligned here.
Yes,
right?
yes.
Let's move on to the AFC East, and I think this is one of the more intriguing divisions for me. I love the Mac Jones thing. I love the Belichick. I love that.
Tony, did you see how good Mac Jones is looking, Tony?
Right. But there's a couple other things though. With Miami, I don't like. I'm not sure Tua's going to be the guy that people were expecting him to be. I think he's injured. I just don't see him overtaking Buffalo, who looks real good. Right? They look real good. And there's a St. Joe's guy who made the Buffalo Bills roster, Joe Giles Harris.
Yes, at a Duke. At a
yep.
Duke.
Smart kid. But
Very much so.
I think Buffalo wins the division. And the Jets, listen, I'm not a Jet fan, but I like what they're doing. I like Wilson. I like Robert Saleh. They've been getting hit with some injuries and so forth, but they may win 7, 8, 9 games, but they're not going to contend for the division. I like Buffalo, but New England, I'm hoping that they're going to hold their own and then make it a run.
I don't know. I think you're making more of a debate than necessary here. This is Buffalo's division, period.
I agree.
Then it's between the Dolphins and New England Patriots for second place. It's a 17-game schedule. Can I say I just haven't seen enough of Tua, okay? I mean, Miami went into this, they're all in on him. So, we'll see. The Mac Jones story, to beat out Cam Newton, play the way he's playing. He looks good.
Yep.
But, once the Broadway lights come on, we'll see if Mac Jones is going to be as efficient. But it's Buffalo's division. It's not even a debate
It's
here.
their division to lose, as they say.
I don't
right?
even think it's a debate here.
So
The Jets, I'll peg for 5 wins. I think you're being a little optimistic.
I think they're going to get at least 7 wins this year. I mean, I like Wilson, and I like what they're doing. They got a lot of talent. And, you never know how it's going to pan out. But
Yeah.
I think Jet fans should be happy that their team's moving in the right direction. That's my thing,
Absolutely.
right? But we go out west, and listen, I'll hand it to you because you start and finish with who? Kansas City. How do you bet against Kansas City?
You don't.
Right? But what about the whole Matt Stafford to the I'm sorry, from the AFC West, Denver, nothing, right?
Teddy Bridgewater.
Las Vegas, David Carr, Derek Carr. I mean, come on.
Las Vegas. John Gruden. Mike Mayock.
They just don't have enough talent to beat Kansas City. So I think
it's not even in the equation.
you and I are pretty aligned here.
I like listen. We love the Raiders, right? The Raiders, right? The
70s Raiders.
The Raiders, exactly, right?
We do.
But I gotta say, Gruden has been such a disappointment to me. I don't. There's no threat to Kansas City, like you said. Denver, San Diego, new coach, second year with Herbert.
Yep.
I
I was going to ask you, do you think they could sneak up and win
No,
more games?
Listen, they could possibly.
They're a playoff team.
They could be a wild card team. But
Right.
Kansas City's going to go
Win the division.
17-game schedule. Let's say they go 14-3. Right?
Yep.
It's a no-brainer.
Yep. So, listen, before we get out, I don't see anybody but Kansas City making the Super Bowl in the AFC before we move on to the NFC. Right?
Right, because there's no debate here.
Right.
They're that good. And I said, I'm on record. I see 3 Super Bowls out of them in the next 6 years. And,
Yes, you
obviously they lost last year. But
We could pull the tapes because I remember you saying that vehemently.
yeah, yeah.
So let's move on to the NFC and start off with the NFC East and your Dallas Cowboys. Dak said he's ready for Week 1. What do you think?
I think Dak is ready for Week 1.
How many wins do you think Dallas pulls off this year?
I think, again,
Impartially, I'm saying.
last year, the Washington Redskins, 7-9.
Washington football team.
Redskins, 7-9. I can see the Cowboys. If this is all, if Dak is healthy, I can see 10 wins. I can see 10-7 winning it. If that goes down, it just blows everything up. But I'm going with the Cowboys, and I'm being objective.
Okay.
I'm serious. Ryan Fitzpatrick.
I'm watching your eyebrows.
Well,
move.
Ryan Fitzpatrick, starts for the Redskins.
And he'll win his first 4 out of 7 games.
Go on.
And then Tyler Haneke will come in.
I like where you're going with this. I was feeling the same. Go ahead. Right. The Giants, I'm telling you, it's going to be a long year.
I'm feeling the same way.
It's going to be a long year. I didn't feel that in the offseason, but Daniel Jones is going to get his ass kicked.
Because they didn't draft offensive
So then
linemen.
Daniel Jones will be running for his life.
I agree.
And Daniel Jones is known for fumbling.
They win 7 or 8 games this year. That's all.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? That's optimistic.
Yeah, the Eagles, they're starting Jalen Hurts.
Well, no, he hasn't had a chance yet. I'm
The
willing
Eagles
to
are
give
starting
him a chance.
Jalen Hurts.
Okay, but they got the Heisman Trophy
Next
winner.
year,
Why
the
not?
Eagles have a lot of draft capital. I think the Eagles are about 2 years away from restocking the cupboard.
Yep.
But the Cowboys,
I think they win the division too.
they have to now. Week 1, I think they're going to go 0-1. They're not beating Tampa. There's no way.
But listen, from a Giants perspective, I'm looking forward to seeing Saquon Barkley back in the lineup because he's an exciting player.
And
man.
exactly who's blocking?
I'm just saying I want to see him on the field because he can make things happen.
That's
all.
fine. Listen, we're big fans.
And
of him.
I'm not throwing the towel in on Daniel Jones, but he's going to be running for his life, like you said.
Well,
But I like the Cowboys.
I'll actually go on record once again. I'll throw the towel in right now.
Okay.
He's not getting after this year
All right, we're moving on.
$35 million a year.
NFC North, right? The Bears, the Vikings,
The Bears.
the Packers, and the Lions.
I'm going to go with the Green Bay Packers and Aaron Rodgers' swan song.
And I'm not going to go with the Green Bay Packers.
Really?
Actually, yes.
Why would that be?
Because I think, you know what? I mean, we've been critical of them, but I think the Vikings have a better chance. I think this whole Green Bay thing has been a distraction beyond belief, and I don't think they're going to just walk through and make the Super Bowl against Kansas City.
I
just
didn't
don't
say
see
they're
it.
going to make the Super Bowl. I said they're going to win their division.
And Detroit, we like this Dan Campbell and his ferocity as a coach and very, forward. And
Right.
I like them, but they don't have the talent.
And to be honest, folks, if you would just ask me, name me 5 Detroit Lions, I couldn't do it without looking it up.
Exactly. And the Bears starting Andy Dalton, I think they should have started Fields. I think he did it well enough in the preseason that you know what you're getting with the Andy Dalton.
I don't understand that with you. This is the second time you said this.
Because
why
what-
did they sign Andy Dalton? Exactly.
To be a backup.
No, to start the season.
You're starting Jones. You're starting Lawrence. You're
What does
starting
it
Wilson.
matter? They're not winning the division.
Then why bother starting Andy
To ease
Dalton?
them in week 4.
Ease them in.
But nobody's going to care week
That's
11,
the
12.
biggest misnomer in anything. Ease him in. You learn by going in the fire. That's how you learn. And Andy Dalton's been in the fire for 15 years or whatever, 12 years.
Is that why his hair is so red?
But anyway, I just think that's a mistake by Nagy in Chicago, not starting Fields out of the gate. What do you got to lose, right? That's my thought.
Okay.
But I like the Vikings to win the division. Packers to come in second.
Kirk Cousins? Kirk Cousins?
It's not like I'm moving all my chips. I like the talent around him. I think he can pull it off.
All right.
He's not an Andy Dalton. Let's
Listen,
put it that way.
I think this is like the Bills winning the AFC. I think this is one of the easiest picks. The Green Bay Packers are winning that division.
Okay. We'll pull
And
it.
Aaron Rodgers is going to have another MVP.
I liked him until he pulled this nonsense. I'm rooting against him, kind of. I'm kind of rooting against him.
You know what I got to say? I've been on record too. I'm like, breaking his chops, and I didn't like it. I get it though. I actually have a different angle on this, and
I know,
and I actually commend Rodgers for.
We've been polar opposites on this. I know.
See, Rodgers had the capital to pull this off, and he did.
Okay, man. He had a contract.
We could do a show on that.
We could. Let's move to the AFC South, which is one of my least favorite divisions, right? You got Atlanta, New Orleans, Tampa, and Carolina.
The NFC South.
NFC, I'm sorry. So you know what we're doing, right? Tampa, no one's going to beat them. Atlanta's not going to win the division. New Orleans is in disarray. Jameis Winston's the starting quarterback.
You think I would take anything with Jameis Winston as my quarterback?
And if you think I'm going to play Carolina with Sam Darnold, you're crazy. So I like Christian McCaffrey. That's the only guy I like on the whole team.
I got to go with Tampa here.
I'm going to go out on a limb and go with Tampa as well. Easy division to figure out. How about the NFC West?
Now you're talking to Matt Stafford.
What do you think about this? Is he
I-
going to mold into what
I did
Sean
a-
McVay thinks he's going to mold into?
You know what? I did a lot of reading on Matt Stafford in the last couple weeks.
He's a good kid. I like him.
He's a really. I mean, I couldn't become a bigger fan. He is as talented. It's hard for me to describe this.
Right, on a lousy team for 10 years.
Yeah, he's
you
as
know?
talented a quarterback as there is out there. McVay is doing cartwheels comparing Matt Stafford to what he just shipped
And
out.
McVay is saying he's the only guy I think could understand my offense and make it work.
I'm gonna take an investment here in stock in Matt Stafford, and I think the Rams are winning that division, and we'll see what happens in the playoffs.
Well, because who's in the division, right? I mean, San Francisco, they're kind of in transition. They don't know Galapagos or whatever his name is, right? And Trey Lance, who we like, by the way.
All right, so I'll throw it right back at you. So why is Jimmy G starting over Trey Lance?
And I say the same thing I said about the Bears.
Tony?
Give him the ball.
Tony, we can't wait to hear from you.
Yeah.
Tony, our loyal San Francisco 49er fan.
Listen, Garoppolo will get hurt during the national anthem in week 2 anyway,
Well, of
so
course.
it doesn't matter. And listen, the dark horse, don't ever count Russell Wilson out. And I told you, the Seattle team with Russell Wilson,
Well, you didn't let me finish about. Yes, of course, Seattle is the prohibitive favorite there because of Russell Wilson. But I made my point when I said I'll take an investment this year.
Yeah.
I'll take a flyer on Matt Stafford turning around the Rams to the point where they eke out that division.
and that seems to be the prevailing feeling. And I'm
He's
not
got to
dismissing
stay
it.
healthy.
Yeah.
Right, and we will see. Matt Stafford got beat up, man, for 10 years in Detroit.
He did.
And a loyal soldier too. Matt Stafford, and again,
Yeah,
part,
but how much
part of my
trade is-
but part of my research on him, he never said a bad word about Detroit. Anything.
No.
A loyal guy.
2 thumbs up, no question
Huge.
about it.
I've become a huge Stafford fan, and
And we've been Sean McVay fans, so we know he knows what he's
Yeah,
doing.
yeah.
But you know what? I know you're going with the Rams. I'm going to go. My sleeper team is Seattle. I
they're not a sleeper.
I think they are.
How are they a
especially in
sleeper?
Russell Wilson. What else do they have?
Is that a sleeper? You got Russell Wilson, quarterback in your team. You're going to call it a sleeper?
Listen, he was the quarterback last year. They didn't have a lot around him, and you saw what happened.
What did they get off to? Like a 10-0 start or something?
Anyway, you're going with the Rams. I'm going with the Seahawks. here,
Okay.
right?
See.
All right, so let's, we'll get to our Super Bowl picks as we move along. But I think my one biggest sleeper in the league, and I just, like I said, I want to be a believer in Ryan Tannehill, but I think Tennessee has a possibility of making it to the Super Bowl, even over Kansas City. That's my long shot sleeper early in the season.
All right. I'm not going to give a sleeper in the AFC because there is no sleeper. The Kansas City Chiefs are going to the Super Bowl. Period.
Okay.
Okay?
Against who? Tom Brady? Can he do it again? Can he do it
If I give you a sleeper for the NFC, I will say
Let me guess. They have a star on their helmet. Huh?
no. I'd say
Green Bay.
I would
be
say
your pick.
I would say Aaron Rodgers gets them to the Super Bowl, and
That would be good for the league.
I don't think he can beat Kansas City.
Okay. But listen, that's our NFL preview, and we'd love to hear from you. Give us your thoughts at sportswithmano@gmail.com.
I will say though, if Green Bay gets to the championship game, they're going to kick the field goal this year.
No, I think Rodgers is going to wave off Matt LaFleur and say, I'm going for it.
That's my point. Thank you. I gave you a layup on that.
All right, listen. Our NFL preview is sponsored by Lynch Toyota of Manchester, Connecticut, and we thank them for their loyal support week after week after week. Before we move off football, Steve, how about college football? And I wanted to give
I love college football.
we do, right? You got big games today, right? You got LSU at UCLA. You got Georgia, Clemson. I mean, this is football. It's fall weather, and we can't wait.
Tomorrow we got the Fighting Irish in Florida State.
Yep.
You got Penn State, Wisconsin today. Is a nice heavyweight battle.
And it's great to start the season off with some of these.
Yeah,
big
Rutgers, Temple. I'm serious.
Well, that was postponed due to Hurricane
Well, they're playing
Ida.
today.
Yep. But a couple other things. You know, you got new eras. You got Gus Malzone at UCF. You got Josh Heupel at Tennessee, who won his first game. And I wanted to give a shout out to one of our, dear friends, Luke Whippler, starting center for the Ohio State Buckeyes.
That is
number
correct.
4 team in the country. And they didn't disappoint in their opening game. Beat the
Oh, they
Minnesota.
disappointed.
I don't think so.
Oh, yes.
Hey, listen, they won the game.
It was at halftime, and I'm like,
That's why they play 2 halves. though.
I get it.
But this kid, number
took
53
them a while.
for Ohio
It took a
State.
while for Ohio State. They put up 41, I think they finished with. But to Jim's point, our dear friend Robert, his son Luke, is number 53, and he's the starting center for the Ohio State Buckeyes.
And really impressed.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking about one of the best offensive lines in the country in
Absolutely.
college football. And,
Absolutely.
And he's anchoring it. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's great.
So there's lots to talk about with college football. We could talk about Scott Frost, right, in Nebraska losing the first game, which we briefed on last week.
That's right.
But
But you know what? You know what I forgot about that game? Nebraska played at Illinois. You know who the head coach of Illinois is now?
quizzed on the air.
No, but don't worry. I wouldn't expect it. Brett Belima,
Okay.
right? Former Wisconsin, went
Yep,
down to
familiar with
Arkansas. Our boy, your boy Walter, down in Arkansas.
Yep.
Probably can chime in
Walhan.
on
Pig Sue Weed.
right, can chime in and say what's the real story behind Belima in there. I've always been a big fan of this guy, and he's at Illinois now, and I think he turns around Illinois in a year or two.
No, listen,
The
Scott-
Lovey Smith era, it was a joke.
Scott Frost has to be really worried about his job.
So Scott
this
Frost,
isn't working out.
right?
you know.
Nebraska plays Fordham today,
And they're giving Fordham 40 points.
40 and a half.
I'll go with the Rams. I mean, I'm not giving Scott Frost 40 points. I'm sorry.
You can't. I just texted my buddy Ted. I said, "This isn't Dean Stankular Cornhuskers,
Yeah, I know.
Mike Rozier type of. Forget
Oh,
about
God, the offensive line.
it. Turner
Nebraska's
Gill,
turned out.
forget about it. Tommy
Absolutely.
Frazier,
You bet. Irving Fryer, another one, right?
and on and on and on.
And on and on and on.
It might be a very, put $20 down.
But listen, there's a game out west with UCLA and LSU, and Steve and I talked about this on
Before the show.
This Chip Kelly thing, I wouldn't put 50 cents on Chip Kelly, and especially LSU. I know they're
I
on
just
the
put a
road.
little bit more than 50 cents on Chip Kelly.
We'll see.
And the reason to be honest, folks,
There's got to be a reason.
year
you know?
3, UCLA. Chip Kelly, ooh, right? UCLA has 20 returning starters. The game is at the Rose Bowl. I get it's against LSU. But for me, he's got to win this game.
But he's had 5 got to win this game, and
but,
he hasn't
but
won
this
any
is
of
against
them.
LSU.
Who's going to rebound? You know,
I'm
they
just-
had an off year last year.
I'm just saying, if Chip Kelly doesn't win this game,
What? He's on the same bus as Scott Frost? I mean,
yeah,
But they've been saying that for 4 years.
because this is
Steve.
year 3.
We'll see. But I'm going with LSU to beat UCLA. on
Now,
their
don't
home
get me
turf.
wrong. Coach Edward Gerard is going to have his LSU Bayou Bengals ready to go here in the Rose Bowl. I haven't been to the Rose Bowl since I was an assistant with USC
I
back
got a
then.
bad Ed Orgeron, but I think I do a better one.
No, you don't.
All right, but listen, college football, all you start, there's 2 words. Saban and Alabama. That's the team to beat. And we'll see how it goes.
Saban plays Miami
Yeah.
in a little while, 3:30. So Bryce Young was officially named the starter,
Yeah.
etc. Alabama is favored by, I believe, 14.5 points against the Miami Hurricanes.
Yeah, and a lot of people I saw
Actually, it might be 19 and a half.
Yeah, but Miami's defense is suspect, so that's why that line is so high. And you know,
Why, they
not
don't-
lines,
Yeah, they don't have Warren Sapp clogging up the middle.
No,
First ballot Hall of Famer Warren Sapp.
we'll see. You know, but college football starts kickoff just started,
Hell yeah.
and high school football is underway in northern New Jersey.
Yeah.
As you know, our St. Joe's game was canceled
Yeah.
against St. Francis Academy from Maryland due to COVID outbreak down in the D.C. area.
Can't control that.
Right.
The Ramapo Green Raiders, where my son attends, opened up last night with
They
a
do.
28-6 victory over West Essex.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not an upset, but
They won.
they did good.
Yeah.
They're a Friday night team they play. Right?
Friday Night Lights.
Yeah,
Yep.
seems to be.
Yep.
But listen, can't wait for the college and the high school football and the NFL is about to start. So let's move on, Steve. The United States Tennis Open at Flushing Meadows. It's awesome. I saw a match yesterday that was an instant classic. And we don't use that. We just mentioned the whole Borg McEnroe thing. Those are classics for sure. This young kid, 18 years old, Alcaraz, beat Tsitsipas, right?
Yeah.
In 5-set tiebreaker. It was amazing.
Go on.
And this kid, Carlos Alcaraz from Spain, is the youngest guy to beat a top 16 player since 1990 when a young Pete Sampras beat Ivan Lendl. Now, I couldn't help but leak. I was watching it, and the kid is unbelievable. He's 18 years old, and he endured and won the match. But I couldn't help think he looked like Jim Carrey from Dumb and Dumber. It was so funny. The haircut, that's got to change. And it will as he goes. But what a match. Great matches so far in the United States Open. How about this? Naomi Osaka lost last night to another 18-year-old U.S. Open.
Naomi got a little emotional.
She did. So she may be stepping back for a little bit, but the women's side is open. But I would love to see Novak and this kid Carlos Alcaraz from Spain. It would be good theater for the U.S. Open.
Oh, absolutely. I think the final, I'll predict right now. Let me see. I'll go Joker 6-2, 6-1, 6-4.
He is the clear-cut favorite to win the calendar Grand Slam this year. I get that.
Yes.
But I really was so impressed with this kid. It was awesome. 18 years old.
But I'm not minimizing. I think because of Federer being out, Nadal, like we've talked about it.
Yeah, we done.
This is great. This is, what you want. You want
We're looking for the next group of guys that are going to
exactly.
dominate. Right?
You want exposure on the biggest stage for an 18-year-old and whatever, right? To get
And
their
he won
names
the
out
crowd over, and they were
Yeah.
just going, all for him, and it was so awesome.
So
But
that's the upside to it,
Right.
right? So yeah,
But on the women's side, this girl Layla from Fernandez from Canada, she's a tiny little girl, and she just took it to Naomi Osaka. I mean, it was awesome. But there's a lot of Halep and Ash Barty on the women's side. That's wide open, and we've said that for a while. We're waiting for that next Martina, Chris Everett, right? That group of women that dominate, right? We're looking at the Williams thing. But there was one point I wanted to make. I was watching this kid Tsitsipas play, and it was the big controversy against Andy Murray going to the bathroom, taking 20 minutes kind of thing. But I kept looking, and I said he keeps looking at his coach and talking to his coach. It's the very same thing they penalized Serena Williams for in the U.S. Open a couple of years ago, and I'm like, nobody else sees this but me. I thought he got away with something, and that's why he was in the bathroom for 20 minutes, because he was on the phone with his coach. He's a good player. He's a great player, but he got knocked off yesterday in the U.S. Open. Has been outstanding.
all right. So he won't be on the phone in the bathroom anytime soon with his
Well,
coach.
now they're going to have cameras in there. Make sure he's actually doing what he's supposed to be doing in the bathroom, right?
I guess there's a fetish out there for people that like to watch people go to the bathroom.
Apparently. People make their living on YouTube. Hey, so listen, tennis is great. Last weekend of racing at Saratoga. And we talked about the Travers last weekend. We talked about Essential Quality, who did not disappoint.
Boy, does it pain you that horse racing season gets dwindling down,
It
too.
is. It's the last weekend.
Now you got to wait for the Breeders' Cup.
Yep. But nothing like Saratoga. It was a great 6 weeks of racing up there.
Right.
Amazing.
The only thing that could top it is seeing the Grateful Dead in Saratoga after the Travers.
I wish I was there for the Europe 72 tour. But listen, before we get to some of our wrap-up points, Major League Baseball, right? It's heating up. We're getting down in the last 30 games of the season, and some teams, the Padres have fallen off, the Reds have fallen off, Giants have come back to earth. So we never know who we're going to see in the Major League Baseball playoffs. But the Yankees look like they got it under control. The Mets with the Phillies in their division may sneak in and actually back into the playoffs. What are your thoughts?
I mean, the Mets have turned it around a little bit. They stopped the bleeding after we talked about Baez and that nonsense.
Yeah, not a big fan. Thumbs down.
Not a good look. Listen, the Yankees, 13 in a row, then lose 4 in a row. Right? But Tampa keeps winning. They're not going to catch Tampa. They're just not. Boston is only 3 behind the Yankees.
Right.
So I can't sit here on Labor Day weekend and say that they're going to make the playoffs.
But a month ago, we didn't think the Yankees were going to make the playoffs at all.
That's
right?
because they were playing.
And the Mets were running away with it.
They were playing.
It's crazy.
Right. So the good news is Garrett Cole strikes out 15 like 3 days ago.
And guess what? Without spider tack. How about
Exactly.
that?
I was going to say that. And that to me, that's encouraging.
Is that theory debunked now? Please?
No, hopefully,
Please.
to be honest, it's about 2 months. So hopefully he's getting acclimated to throwing, remembering.
He's been throwing baseballs on the pitcher's mound for 30 years.
That's my
for crying
point.
out
I'm
loud.
saying now he's getting reacclimated to the point. You can laugh at me all you want.
I'm
Go
sorry.
ahead. Go ahead. I'll sit here. Go ahead. Laugh.
No,
Come on.
100 miles an hour is 100 miles an hour.
I don't think this is a ridiculous point I'm making. I think he's getting reacclimated to throwing the baseball.
Without sticky stuff.
Exactly. Okay? Now, here's the other thing. Giancarlo Stanton, game-winning hit last night. Until the guy gets hurt again, he's been productive.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
he's not a, dislikable guy either.
But I think fans are happy to see him at least find his glove and go play some baseball.
Right. So let's enjoy this next 4-day stretch before, the quad rips or something. And I hate to say that, but that's been the track record.
But here's the one thing in Major League Baseball I want to see, and they're falling off the cliff, is the Padres. I want to see Tatis in the playoffs.
They got to win.
And I'm not even a Padres fan, but I like him, and I want to see
I don't
him.
like their chances because you got the Dodgers, Giants. Whoever wins the division, obviously, then that's a wild
Right,
card.
the Reds
there.
will crash, the Phillies will
I don't
crash.
know. The Reds, Joey Votto, we talked about.
Got a good
Castellanos on this team.
Yeah.
The Brewers are formidable.
Brew Crew are pretty
The
good
Brew
right
Crew
now.
is real good, man.
Yeah.
Brandon Woodruff and this Corbin Burns 1-2 punch on the mound.
Big time.
They got Yelich and
They're good.
They're very good.
They're
Don't
good.
discount the Brewers.
It still drives me crazy that the Brewers are in the National League. We grew up when they
You're
were
right.
in the American League. Right?
You're right.
So listen, let's move on, Steve. We got the random points of interest. We're going to bring it up, touch on it, quick comment. The Trent Dilfer rant, the high school football coach roughing up one of his players. He's been the wrath of our existence for years.
Right.
And it was just funny that, this Super Bowl winning quarterback, in quotes, in today's day and age, gets caught on film roughing up his guy. And how does he survive this job?
Well, Trent's just so passionate about the position.
And that's That's the explanation.
But
right?
you know what? On the flip side, I don't know if you saw highlights of Phillip Rivers, who's coaching in Alabama.
I did.
He wins his first high school game.
I did.
His father was his coach. I mean, this is a family thing. And Phillip Rivers is a really good guy, family guy. 9, 10 kids he's got.
You can't put your hands on a player. That's how it
I
is
know,
today.
but my point is on the other side is Phillip Rivers. Great story. I mean, Phillip Rivers has
yeah,
got.
but he only got caught on film coaching, not roughing up a player.
My point is, Phillip Rivers is not going to rough up. That's his demeanor, and it's nice to be coaching on a Friday night. I would think with like $300 million in your bank account.
Oh, no, that it takes the pressure.
That would
off.
put me in a good mood too.
Yeah. So listen, real quick, another point, and we just touched on it before, the Javi Baez thumbs down thing with Lindor.
Yeah.
Met fans, they're awfully forgiving, I guess. I would have sent Javi Baez packing.
Javi Baez is going packing.
I hope so.
In the off season, trust me, he's gone.
All right. But listen,
Lindor, unfortunately, is only 9 more years from that.
right, well, hitting 221. But I want a quick acknowledgement to Howie Rose, who's stepping down.
Absolutely.
And, wanted to bring this up. The Monos, we respect, professionals
Love-
in their field, and
love
Howie
Howie.
Rose this guy's got it done. He's got a great resume, and he's going through some medical issue, and we wish him the best.
Right, and for the audience, Howie Rose is a New York sports broadcaster,
Yep.
right? So, people across the country listening may not know the name Howie Rose, but an icon broadcaster
Yep.
for everybody.
Big time.
Mainly noted for the Mets and Islanders, right? But he's done it all.
Yep.
He's done it all, and we wish him well.
We do. Hey, guess who got out of jail yesterday?
Who?
Art Schliester.
Did he?
Yeah.
Wow.
Art Schliester got out of jail for probably the third time in the past 25 years. But Steve and I loved this guy when he was playing for Woody Hayes at Ohio
Number
State.
10.
4-year starter.
Started as a freshman. Number
And then
10.
was like, number one pick for the Colts and never worked. He had a disease. But I thought it was kind of, we saw this and go, oh my God, did you hear what happened to Art Schliester? 25 years ago. He's out. He'll be back in the can in 6 weeks, with a scam,
Let me see. If
It's
I'm
a disease.
If I'm Art Schliester, what would be the over-under on me going back to the can? Huh.
Right. Called DraftKings.
I am telling you, he's going back to the can.
Exactly.
But, hey, listen.
He had a
All-
great college career.
But all kidding aside, it's a disease, gambling, like
It is.
alcoholism, anything else.
Yep.
So we wish him well.
Yeah. One quick thing on this guy, Evander Kane. We talked about the potential gambling thing he had going.
Yeah.
Scandal grows worse. He's being now charged with reneging on paying for abortions. I mean, this guy will never see the NHL.
This doesn't
light
sound
again.
like the Evander Kane that
I know, but once you're in the news for something bad, and then you're in the news again for something worse, it can't get any worse. Career over.
Yes.
Here's an interesting thing. And you and I know high school football very well. IMG played a team called Bishop Sycamore from Ohio.
Okay.
And apparently there's this big scandal about being duped. It's not actually even a high school. Nobody goes to school.
I am so glad you brought this up.
Because I
Oh,
saw
my
it, and they
God.
got blown out by IMG,
Oh,
which
my
is a
God.
premier high school football factory, and they got blown out like 50-0. What a fraud! This is like the guy buying the Islanders, a complete fraud.
Yeah, I mean, when I read the story, I thought Bernie Madoff. It is so ridiculous.
Ponzi scheme of high school football.
It is so ridiculous on the surface that this team can even
Yep.
form,
Yep.
let alone.
And I saw a piece on it, so I know the backstory now, and it's unbelievable.
Is this the one that stayed at the hotel and they all,
And they dished that on the bill,
Right.
right? Dine and Dash at IHOP. and all
Holy
that kind of
Christ.
crap. Right.
No, the coach said he'd be right back. No, but those things.
That coach was fired. I don't know who fires him when you're not even a team, but Nobody went to school. It's kind of funny that ESPN got duped.
my
I'm
God.
saying it. Just saying it. Another quick thing of random points of interest. Bob Boone. And I thought Bob Boone had to be 90 by now. He's 75, and he resigned his position in the front office with the Nationals because he doesn't want to get his COVID shot. Didn't you think Bob Boone was 61 when he was still catching for the Phillies?
Oh, of course.
Wasn't that funny?
Yeah.
75. You got to be kidding.
Hey,
But the guy's standing on principle. Right,
Father
wrong,
of
or
Aaron.
indifferent. Of course.
father of Brett, but nobody hears about Brett anymore.
And even Bob Boone's father was.
You know why
probably-
nobody hears about Brett anymore?
Why?
Because Brett was a steroid user. That's why.
Oh, okay, yeah. He did have a little tarnished reputation.
Yeah.
But Bob Boone probably caught probably more games in the major leagues than
Just about anybody.
just about anybody. So, Steve, we'll move on, unfortunately, to our notable segments, our notable passing segment. Ed Asner, and listen, from the world of entertainment,
Commie.
I thought his role as Lou Grant on Mary Tyler Moore was perfect.
Well, that's how we.
Brilliant.
That's how we came to know Ed Asner, right?
He'll comment, you got spunk, Mary.
Right, right.
I hate spunk.
The bottle of scotch in the right drawer.
Exactly.
Ted Baxter coming in.
Yep.
Lou, Lou.
What an actor. I mean, what a career. 92.
He had this role. Do you remember?
91,
Do you
I
remember
think.
Rich Man, Poor Man?
Of course.
One of my all-time favorite TV.
And he was in Roots as well.
A young Nick Nolte,
Yep.
Peter Strauss, but he played Axel Jordash, the father of
Yeah,
him.
he played
Right?
his father, right?
I mean,
What a career.
what a career! Not the most liked guy in Hollywood.
His political views became a little
So
forthright. I guess.
So I made that commie reference,
Yep.
in jest, because that's kind of like a lot of people felt that way.
Yeah,
now.
a great actor.
Listen, 91?
91.
Yeah,
91.
Ed Asner. Thumbs up, Lou
Yep,
Grant.
big time. Two people from the world of sports. Keith McCants, former Tampa Bay, Alabama football player who was awesome in college.
He was great at
And
Alabama.
didn't have a great pro career, had a lot of problems
He did.
and so forth.
He did. I'm not surprised. You know what? When I read Keith McCants, I said I'm not surprised.
53.
Yeah, and actually, I think he lasted longer than I thought he would.
I think he played 4 or 5 years in the
Right,
league.
he had problems, and
Yeah.
not diminishing it, but Keith McCants,
53.
I do remember him at Alabama as being just a
Absolute stud.
fantastic player.
Yeah.
I think he played under Gene Stallings.
Yeah, and he
if I
was
remember
a
correctly.
top 5 draft pick in
Yeah,
that draft.
well deserving.
And how about this? David Patton from the New England
Yeah.
Patriots. 3 Super Bowl rings.
Yep.
Right?
Good
Played for
guy.
the Giants.
Good
Very
guy.
nice, well-liked guy. Had some big catches in the Super
Hell
Bowl.
yeah,
Motorcycle accident of all things. 47 years old.
yeah.
Right? But he was... I didn't know he had 3 rings. I wouldn't
Yeah.
have thought he had 3.
No,
He
yeah,
did.
yeah.
But he was a pretty decent player.
That's
actually,
right.
you know?
That's a tough loss for New England. You
Yeah.
know.
And listen, we talk about notables. I just wanted to bring this up from the Mono and Mono, sports desk. This Hurricane Ida has just caused incredible devastation, and our thoughts and prayers go out to all the people that have been affected by this, literally from New Orleans, which time and time again they got to suffer through this. And then it moved to the Northeast, and we saw unprecedented things and casualties in the Northeast. And I just wanted to make sure that we mentioned all our best to the people that just had some traumatic losses, like James Walsh's son lived in Mamaroneck in Westchester County. A nightmare, an absolute Armageddon from a weather perspective.
I just got to say, from a personal experience, I had a cover for work the other night, and I'm at work watching this
Unfold.
absolute monsoon outside, right? Then I had to get in my car at 12 o'clock at night, and I drive. Every road is basically closed. Then I finally beep up, boop up, boop, boop. I wound up getting caught between 2 lakes off a major highway.
Not surprised.
And I had to sleep in my car for 4.5 hours in an industrial park as this whipping rain.
Yeah.
My point, I'm not asking for sympathy. I'm just saying I had this appreciation of
Mother Nature's fury.
Right, but when you read about Katrina and you read about what New Orleans or Louisiana and the South
Goes through all the time.
holy Christ, it's
Yeah.
you have to take precautions when, and that
And you never know, but just be careful and
Here's the other thing I just want to say real quick. That's the type of storm that when it comes, go get 5 gallons of milk. Okay?
Loaf of bread.
Not when there's 3 inches of snow on the ground.
Exactly.
And you need 9 loaves of bread.
Right.
Okay? So my point is, it gave me such a deep appreciation.
But Mother Nature's fury is just relentless, and I just wanted to make sure we gave a shout out to everybody affected by that storm.
Right.
Hurricane Ida.
Yeah.
We'll never forget the name, right? But listen, thanks everybody for joining us on Sports with Mono and Mono.
Send us an email with your thoughts. sportswithmonoandmono@gmail.com.
Yep.
Tony, absolutely expect a paragraph or two on your Mac Jones
Situation.
apology. Kidding. We
But
love you, Tony. Hope you're feeling better too.
But thanks, and we'll talk to you guys next week. Enjoy the sports weekend. It's loaded, and thanks for joining us.
Let's go Irish.
All right.